This is the deepest place on Earth, about 11,000 meters deep. There is no sunlight here. It is completely dark, and the pressure is enough to crush bones. The conditions here are so terrible that if any animal from the surface is left here, it will turn into jelly in seconds. Even the strong cells of the bones will melt. So, the existence of life here is impossible. But in 1960, this way of thinking of people changed completely. Scientists discovered a strange thing from this deepest place of the sea. They saw an animal moving at the very bottom of the sea. For the first time in their lives, they found evidence of the existence of life so low. But the most amazing thing is that these animals have adapted themselves to survive in this harsh environment in a way that they cannot be seen anywhere else on Earth. What we have learned about this mysterious place so far is only some samples collected by machines or sometimes accidentally caught in deep sea fishing nets. Sometimes they wash up on the shore. But whenever they are taken out of their natural habitat, their safe size changes and they become a strange alien shape and they die immediately. That's why we don't know exactly what they really look like and how they live here. 150 years ago today, the British ship HMS Challenger started a mission to map the ocean floor. For about 4 years, they measured the depth of different points in the ocean. Their ship was made of wood, and they had a rope in their hands, one side of which was tied to a heavy weight. Meter after meter, they lowered the rope into the sea, and at most, they could measure the depth of the sea up to 3 to 4 kilometers deep. But one day, 2,000 kilometers east of the Philippines, they started measuring again. But this time, the weight of the rope did not stop after going another 3 to 4 kilometers. It continued to descend under the sea. At one point, their measuring rope ran out. They attached more ropes, and the continuo continued to lower it. But they could not find the bottom anymore. Gradually, their fear grew. They thought that maybe a sea monster was eating the rope. At that time, sailors believed that sea monsters lived in the sea, a terrible monster with big tentacles that pulled the ship into the depths of the sea. So in ancient times, this kind of drawing was very famous. But finally, the weight hit the bottom of the sea. The rope reached about 8 kilometers down, and they found a place. Today, we know it as the Mariana Trench. But if they had gone a little further west, they would have discovered the Challenger Deep, which is the deepest point on Earth, about 11,000 kilometers down. It is so deep that if the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest, was placed under it, there would be a 2-kilometer gap. The Mariana Trench is a huge hole in the seabed. I is a curved area like the moon, 1,000 kilometers long and 700 meters wide. This place is located in the Pacific Ocean. It is located east of the Philippines near the Mariana Islands, but the biggest challenge of going down here is the water pressure. If you dive to the bottom of a swimming pool, you can feel the water pressure near your ears. We only start to feel abnormal when we go down to a depth of 3 to 4 meters. Now imagine how high the water pressure can be thousands of meters below sea level. At such a depth, the water pressure is 1,000 times higher than the surface. That means the pressure is equal to the pressure exerted by a Boeing 777 on a previous one. So if you bring the most powerful creature on the surface so far down here, its body will be torn apart by the water pressure before you can blink. This pressure can break even the strongest machine. This is why sometimes deep-sea missions fail. Military submarines, which are designed to operate missions hidden in the depths of the sea, can also only go down to 1,500 meters. If you go down below that, the submarine can crack. But, surprisingly, in 1960, 2 people were able to go down to the bottom of the ocean for the first time. It took Don Wallace and Jacques Picard about 5 hours to reach the bottom. Their submarine had 2 small windows. They were so small that they would be the size of a coin. The ocean was so deep that it was pitch black. They could only see a small part of it because of the light of their submarine. At first, they couldn't see anything there. Because their submarine landed at the bottom, the mud and sand made the water muddy. But then they noticed something moving in the water. They thought it might be a flatfish. But many scientists commented that it wasn't a flatfish. Maybe it was some other animal, because flatfish can't drive that low. Then suddenly their windows started cracking, so they quickly escaped from there. Their mission was so dangerous that no one dared to go there for almost 50 years. And during this time, 7,000 people have already climbed Mount Everest. Even 12 people have set foot on the moon. This proves how difficult it is to reach the deep sea. When you look at the ocean from afar from above, you will see nothing but water. Then, when you go down a little further into the ocean, everything
It will become quieter. Sunlight can reach here, due to which small plants can be seen here. This part of the sea is known as the epipelagic zone, or sunlight zone. But this part of the sea covers only 2 to 3% of the area. About 90% of marine animals live here, and from here the ocean food chain starts. There are organisms like small plants here, and they are eaten by organisms like zooplankton. Their size is so small that they cannot be seen without a microscope. They are eaten by small fish. These small fish are eaten by big fish, and these big fish are eaten by huge animals like whale sharks. And from here we fish for sea fish for food, such as tuna, herring, cod. Then when you go further down, the sunlight will gradually disappear. The water will become black and dark. After about 200 meters, the twilight zone starts, which is also known as the mesopelagic zone. And the water here is very cold. This is where bioluminescence begins, a type of light that sea creatures produce themselves, and strange creatures roam around in this zone. The most common fish in this region is the bristlemouth. They are only a few centimeters long, but their numbers are huge here. If you go down even further, to a depth of 1 kilometer, you will reach the midnight zone. Another name for this is the bathopelagic zone, and from this place, scientists have very little knowledge about the ocean. The temperature here is 4 degrees. The water pressure is also very terrible. Even drivers cannot dive this deep without equipment. Even submarines have their limits at this depth. But even then, there are all kinds of creatures living here for whom life here is normal. They have adapted strangely to the darkness, pressure, and cold here. And the further down you go from here, the more strange creatures you will discover. Some of them have eyes so large that they can see animals that are close to them, even in the dark. For example, owlfish, barrel-eye fish, and another strange fish. Their heads are completely transparent. When you look at them, it seems that their eyes are these dots, but in reality, these green bulbs are their eyes. The most interesting thing is that their eyes can only be seen upwards. According to scientists, they can also rotate their eyes to see their prey. There are some animals that do not use their eyes to catch their prey,
as snipe eels, which swim with their mouths permanently open, and small animals like shrimp get stuck in their teeth like hooks, and they eat them and live here. Another strange animal is the giant squid, which is as big as a school bus, and its eyes are as big as a dinner plate. But animals that do not have large eyes use special pressure sensors to sense the movement of their prey. Even if they are completely blind, they can attack their prey with the help of this sensor. Some animals lure their prey with bright light. The deeper you go, the more scarce food becomes. Large animals can survive for many days without food here. They just wait for the right food. There are very few deep-sea predators. For this reason, the animals here are very large in size. And they can live for a long time. Size does not matter in this darkness. Everyone is a predator here. Pelican eel. Their body is like a snake, but their mouth is much larger than their body, so they can even recognize animals larger than them. Further down, the abyssal zone starts from a depth of about 4,000 meters, and this zone is limited to a depth of 6,000 meters. This zone is still unknown to scientists. Animals live here that are not seen anywhere else on Earth. The wreck of the Titanic ship lies in this zone. Most of the ocean floor extends up to 6,000 meters deep. But in some places, the ocean is even deeper than that, and this place is called the Hedal Zone. And in this zone, there is the Mariana Trench up to 8 kilometers deep. Here, small bacteria grow on the rocks, and these small organisms survive using chemosynthesis. Like plants use sunlight to make food. It is called photosynthesis, but sunlight does not reach this depth of the ocean. So the bacterial organisms here get energy from chemicals. In the language of scientists, this process is called chemosynthesis. There is almost no food here. Some food falls down from above. It is called a snowfall. Sometimes a dead animal falls this far. And then a whole group of animals live here. The entire ecosystem depends on this one dead animal to survive. You can see these little hair-like things attached to the bones. These are the cetaceans here, and the snailfish. The deepest fish in the world lives here. This small fish is so strong that even if you put 90 elephants on them, they will not burst. And if you go down another 3 kilometers from this Mariana Trench, you will reach the deepest point on Earth. No fish has been found here yet. And scientists still do not know exactly who lives here. The water pressure here is so high that exploring down to such depths is a challenging task. We have a very good knowledge of the moon. We have also been able to send spacecraft to Mars, but even then we